Mixon is back. He's got a strong message. Bobby Slowik spoke. I asked him about the run game. Let's hear what he had to say. Let's go live. Another edition of the Locker Room on YouTube. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top two and we not too plugged in daily digital.
It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. As you can tell, I'm not in the studio. I'm actually on the road. Uh, Going to hit the Texas OU game on Saturday, and just got in town at the mom's house. You know, and I was like, I got to stream. Can't leave the people without a little night stream. It might be a little bit shorter. It's definitely a different production. Literally just got in about 8 minutes ago. I'm not in the basement. I'm in an office. It's actually a pretty nice office. Look, you can kind of see Clothes right there. We could have like a counseling session, uh, the dogs, all that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm I'm definitely not in the basement. This would be a sick basement though, if it were, but I am in an office and the dogs out there, the babies out there getting to see grandma and I think they're having like a little midnight snack. So that's where we are. Joe Mixon, he was back at practice today. That was the big news of the day. Was the fact that Joe Mixon was back at practice today, uh, and he had a hell of a message. I mean, this dude is wired up, Joe Mixon, and a lot of people will say, "Is it for sure that Joe Mixon plays when he practices?" The answer to that would be no. But knowing this PR team, this Texans PR team, the way I do, um, and the way I kind of know their tendencies, um, Kay Hogan is a diehard man. I had to stop and laugh at that. R.I.P. to your stepdad that used to cook you steaks late at night. Yeah, that was he died in he actually died in '05. Crazy enough, the day before the Texas A&M game, I was supposed to go to the Texas A&M game when Vince Young and them played, and he passed away '05. My mom's actually remarried now, but yeah, my stepdad used to uh, get really drunk and cook steaks. He was like a functioning alcoholic. Rest in peace. Um, Maybe TMI, but yeah, that's a diehard right there um, for knowing that. Uh, let's hear from Joe Mixon though. This is a hell of a message from Joe Mixon, and the basis of the question was, first of all, I know Joe Mixon's going to give a good answer, but I asked Joe Mixon, you know, you're coming back, Nico's leaving. When you were gone, Nico held it down. Is there any pressure to uh, hold it down for Nico the way that Nico held it down for you? Y'all are going to freaking love this if you haven't seen it yet. Look at that intensity right there. Diggs in the background. Here was what Joe Mixon had to say to that. I can promise you, you're gonna love this.
Nico held it down when you were out. Now you kind of hold it down for Nico.
Shit, I'm gonna hold it down regardless when I'm in there, whether he in there or not. You know what I'm saying? I think you got guys who else feel that way, like Tank, Steph, you know what I'm saying? CJ, all them boys probably feel that same way. So, you know, it's everybody gonna play for their brothers, do what they gotta do to, you know, obviously come out with the dub. These next, you know what I'm saying, this next stretch right here that we about to hit in the second quarter of the season is crucial. It's critical. And I think that, you know, we just got to do whatever we can to go out here each and every week and take care of business. Because at the end of the year, you know what I'm saying, if we take care of business now, we're going to be where we want to be at the end of the year. So I hope, you know, we go out there and do whatever we got to do, you know, no matter how ugly it is, no matter how, you know, good it looks. As long as we come out with the dub, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Thank you. Nico held it down.
I think that's good stuff from Joe Mixon. He's intense, man. I see someone in the chat says that he was cranky. Nah, he's just an intense guy. And he's kind of ticked off, and um, we'll hear why he's ticked off in a second. The NFLPA was actually on hand, and he kind of had a thing. Mix doesn't want the media in the locker rooms. I don't know, man. Like that whole thing's weird to me. They have it pretty cush here in Houston, to be honest with you. When it comes to that, it doesn't matter to me. I'm a streamer. I'm a radio host. Um, I will go make pitches for players, and we can go to the side. I don't care. Like I'm not a beat writer. Um, I stay in my space. Y'all see whenever there needs to be like some exclusive stuff, I'll go talk to him, but I'm not trying to sit there and kick it and talk about LeBron. you know, it doesn't do anything for me. So whatever he wants is fine. I will say this from a player standpoint, they definitely have it pretty easy here. Do they have it easy in Dallas? Probably not. Do they have it easy in Cincinnati? No. That it's kind of a firestorm. But they have it pretty easy here. It might actually be inconvenient for them. I think this is just kind of a typical situation where there was a few situations, and now the NFLPA is trying to win something. I mean, they get their ass whooped by the owners every year, so they're trying to win something. And I think a lot of players are kind of gassing themselves up to where they don't really realize what the deal is. I also think it's a lot of the, for lack of a better term, I don't mean this disrespectfully. I just think it's a sports analogy. I think it's a lot of the scrubs that are more uncomfortable than the star players, because a lot of those guys are just kind of sitting there changing as guys are getting interviewed around them, and that might have something to do with it. But as far as there being something going on in Houston, I don't think that's the situation. And now the dogs barking. That's the difference in road work. Here was a message that Joe Mixon. Yeah, they had it real easy here. I mean, some of these guys are trying to buddy up with you. I'm not trying to do that. If I need to criticize, I'll criticize. So, yeah, I ain't your buddy. You don't want to be my buddy. We'll just keep it going. Appreciate you for rocking William with me and Stoots. We're still going to do our normal 4 o'clock tomorrow. He's going to hold it down. So follow Stoots for the practice updates, and we'll react to the final injury report, which not all good news. We'll get to that in a sec. We'll hear from Bobby Slowik as well. Uh, Joe Mixon came with a mission today, and this was why he was kind of gassed up. And you could tell he was a little bit wired up when I asked my question. He's naturally intense, but he's pissed off that he got hurt on an illegal tackle. And I know a lot of fans are. And, sometimes the fans get pissed off and the players are kind of like, they have like a different vibe or a different mindset. That wasn't the case with Mixon. He's pissed off about getting the way running backs are treated when it comes to fines. He's pissed off that he got hurt on on an illegal tackle. So here is Joe Mixon's message. And this is pretty loud and clear.
The competitor that you are and having to start the year that you had, how tough was it the past couple of weeks sitting out and not being able to play?
Shit, what you think?
I
was number one in the league in rushing. I want to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, other than
He's ready.
Obviously, I was stopped because of that weak ass hip drop tackle. You know what I'm saying? So I can't do nothing about that. I want to be out there more than anybody. You know what I'm saying? So obviously it's frustrating, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm gonna just keep on working, and when it's time to, be out there, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to show I'm the best on the field. Simple as that.
How frustrating was it that type of injury was the one that took you out, the one that they banned from the NFL? How frustrating was it to just be on time because of an illegal hit?
I mean, it's very frustrating because, you got guys out here protecting themselves from hits. You know what I'm saying? And they getting fined $45,000, $50,000, and for a illegal hip drop tackle, we getting fined, 16 when it's supposed to be an emphasis. It's supposed to be taken out the game. You know what I'm saying? So obviously the priorities ain't right. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? So obviously it is frustrating to see, but it is what it is. If we're gonna, talk about playing the game the right way, we also got to have integrity for the game when it comes to it. So that's how I feel.
Okay, I mean, loud and clear right there. Not too pleased. Shout out to GC with the soup. Mixon about to go crazy. O-line needs to help him, no doubt. And Bobby Slowik spoke today, and I asked him about the run game. He gave me a 3-minute and 20-second answer, and I want y'all to tell me what you think of the answer that Bobby Slowik gave me. We'll hear it in a sec. Someone's asking if I'm in a closet. No, I'm in an office right now. Little road work. Just got. If you're just tuning in, appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. I just got in town for Texas OU, so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to miss a stream. So 10:30 stream it is. Microphone in the hand, sitting at the desk. Now this is old school right here. Look what we got. We got pencils. That's old school right there. Look at that. That's how you do it right there. That's old school. But we'll get to Slowik's. The other news from practice today, and GC says, is that what people are tripping about? He told no lies. He was number one when he got hurt. So what if it was a game too? Yeah, are people tripping about that? I haven't really been on social media today. I've been driving after practice. So I don't know what that was about. I haven't been kidnapped. Who the hell's going to kidnap me? That's the one thing my mom didn't have to worry about. She could drop me off in the roughest part of town. They're going to get my ass back. I can promise you that. Got my daughter sitting there looking at me. Hello. But let's hear from Bobby Slowik. And then later, let's react to that. And I want y'all to tell me what you think of the 3-minute answer. Did it do it for you? And full disclosure, I went to this press conference not anticipating that Joe Mixon was going to practice today. So the original plan was, the question of Bobby Slowik was going to be, is the run game still close? Like, what are we doing here? Because it's another week without running the ball right. And is Dameon Pierce going to get the majority of the carries because it isn't what you try? But Joe Mixon's there. That just kind of changes everything, right? Like, it kind of changes everything. So here's what Bobby Slowik had to say, and you'll hear my question in his 3-minute answer momentarily.
Of the problems with the run game, I guess, remain when Mixon comes back. Obviously, he makes it better, but you've had trouble running the ball lately. How many of the problems that you've had running the ball remain when Mixon comes back?
Yeah, I couldn't even come close to forecasting something like that. I would say, the NFL is hard. Like, it's hard. And we embrace the fact that we've been able to get some wins and got to 4-1, and we played a lot of really good team efforts. Very rarely in the NFL in any aspect. So even if you bring it all the way down to offense, are all things clicking at once. Like, that's an extremely rare thing in the league. So, we had the first game, our run game was clicking. I would say probably our pass game, not so much. We've had a couple games in there where nothing was really clicking.
I mean, that first game, Mixon was there, though. So, I mean, they've pretty much told you they're Mixon dependent on the run game. Like, they've told you. And that's Mixon dependent on any hope of it having a good run game. I see Lamont asked in the chat, is Pierce back? He is. I don't know if that means he's active or what. We don't know what that's going to look like. But here's more from Slowick.
And then we've had some games since where the pass game's been clicking and the run game's had its moments, but by and large has not always been exactly what we want. But, that can change at the snap of a finger. So just continuing to stick with it. I think our guys put on the last game, they put some really good clips out there, specifically in the run game. Like, the touchdown run we had was probably for Cam. Probably one of the easier runs he had of his career. It was really well blocked. The two tight ends did a great job coming back across the formation. The left side of the line, LT and Kenyon, I mean, they washed it all down. Juice did a great job. Shaq blocked 2. I mean, it was as good as you could get. We just got to find a way to continue stacking those, and that's really our what we're working on as we go through the year. I think that's every team in the NFL. What's been awesome is how everybody just constantly rallies around each other to whatever it is that week. Like we'll find a way. We're going to find a way. And now I'm broaching beyond your question, but just like for us, even offensively, we felt like that was probably one of our better offensive games. First half was one where really we felt like we were doing and executing how we wanted. We had cleaned up the penalties, which was a big thing for us going into the game, which is a credit to the guys. I mean, they've gone all in on really trying to hammer that out. In the second half, we kind of had a few times it showed back up and we just couldn't overcome it. And, like statistically, we've been good on third down. We've been good in the red zone. We've been good in yards. There's like this void somewhere between the plus 45 and the plus 30 that we've had some issues in, and that right now as a staff is what we're in there grinding and trying to figure out, because really in the game where we stalled in the second half was we had two, really three if you count the 44-second play, times where we got across the 40-yard line and we had no points to show for it, which that gets hard. That's hard to win in the NFL when that happens. So we were fired up as a team that we were able to rally together and get that done.
All right, there's different mix. This is why sports fandom's the best. You have some people saying Slowik's really good at speaking. You have others saying that he never gives a straight answer. I think Lamont asked about the drink. That's water. That's their water of choice. That's actually the water they have sitting around. It's like aluminum can water. It's pretty good. Not bad at all. Don't hate it. And I think I don't think I sound like Bobby Slowick. That's a race card, my friend. If I had my roadcaster, I would drop the race card on you for even saying that me and Slowick sound alike. And now you're gonna get all the brothers saying that I sound like him, and you guys are wrong too. But the Slowick thing is interesting because I think I actually think that answer kind of told you the truth. Like I think that answer kind of told you the truth, and it told you what we all know and what we've all seen with our own eyes is that I'm going to say it again. So drink whenever I say it, you'll be effed up. It's Mixon dependency for any hope at a run game. That's what it is. It's Mixon dependency for any hope at a run game. You heard Bobby Slowick there just now. When he was describing what they did well, first of all, he said we ran it really good the first game. Okay. Who played that first game? Oh, Joe Mixon. Oh, it was the only game that Joe Mixon played the entire game of. Then when he's talking about these other guys running, he's saying they put some good clips out. Some good clips. He didn't say we had good. He said clips. Like a clip is a small thing. He didn't say he said clips. He didn't say tape. He said clips. So they know, and I hope that this is more so about the running backs than it is some sort of schematic thing, or it could be about the offensive line, which is something different. But they know that they need Mixon, and they're very dependent on Mixon when it comes to running the rock. And I think that's basically like with that long ass answer that Bobby Slowick just gave. That's basically what he told you. We can't run the effing ball without Joe Mixon. And why would you expect to? You brought back Damian Pierce. We don't know. Maybe Pierce looks good. We don't know. We haven't gotten like a big sample size. Is he RB2? You brought in a guy with 2 torn Achilles. That obviously wasn't your plan because he wasn't there at the start of camp. So that was just kind of a tire kick. Was that like an, oh, bleep, what have we done? We got Dare Gumbawale and Damian Pierce if Joe Mixon gets hurt? Because even Joe Mixon wasn't plan A. Plan A was Saquon Barkley. It was a hell of a pivot. But they've told you, like, they can't run the ball without Joe Mixon. That's it. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. They cannot run the ball without Joe Mixon. That's it. Frank Ross also spoke today. He insists that Tommy Townsend's still punting well. And I do think special teams have been kind of blah. From like a return standpoint, it seems like they've made mistakes inside the 5 and they had the block punt. But Fairbairn's been elite. And that sequence, because as he's talking, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, that sequence, it kind of went by fast and it was kind of a blur. But that special team sequence in the final minute of that ball game on Sunday was actually as good as I think we can imagine. And I think it just gets buried because I don't know, like we're in a short time, we've become, and I think it's a good mindset to have. We've become kind of nitpicky when it comes to wins. And I think they are too. I think that's just kind of their mindset. But just go back to that final minute. So CJ gets the intentional grounding, which means you don't get to attempt the 56-yard field goal. Tommy Townsend comes in. He downs a punt inside the 2. The defense gets the stop. Robert Woods picks up some yards to get you closer. And then Fairbairn makes the 59-yard field goal. So that was a pretty good end to special teams for sure. We'll see how that goes. The bad news at practice, the secondary and the defense that you've been running, it's in shambles. No Kamari Lassiter with the shoulder. Who knows whether or not he plays? And Jimmy Ward, he's going to be out. I would anticipate Jimmy Ward being out. So you've been basically playing 3 safeties, 2 corners, 2 linebackers, and Petrie's basically a linebacker, but he counts as one of those safeties. Now you're going to have to play a bunch of corners, and you're not going to have as many safeties when it comes to Jimmy Ward. So we'll see how that looks. I heard Nico say that, we're going to play our defense. I don't know what that means. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But when he says we're going to play our defense no matter what, that's not true. I mean, y'all might have the same mentality, but you aren't going to be playing the same. Like if there's no Jalen Petrie, no one's filling Jalen Petrie's role and doing what they're doing right now with him, which is perfect. I still think there's opportunity for the other team to kind of expose Jalen Petrie, though. I think there's a massive opportunity that teams haven't taken advantage of, and I think it still exists. I think they've just been able to kind of sustain it. But their defense right now is an adjustment. Like when Christian Harris comes back, if he comes back, whenever the hell that would be, like, do you think they're only going to play 2 linebackers? Are they going to rotate Christian Harris with either Shire or Henry To'oTo'o? Does Henry To'oTo'o go to the bench? Do you want Henry To'oTo'o going to the bench right now with the way he's playing? Or are they going to play more 3 linebackers? You don't want Jalen Petrie to be a traditional safety. I mean, it's a cool thing to have. It's a hell of a chess match, though. But when D'Amico says we're going to play our defense, I don't know. P88 asks, when does Autry come back? I would say Tuesday. And I think we might get someone else back by the end of this month. Not Christian Harris, though. Not Christian Harris. And not Nico Collins. We might get someone else back by the end of this month. It might have something to do with what I just spoke on. But yeah, I think Autry's trending up. I think he's working out. He was never hurt. So I do think you get Autry. He could be on the field in less than 10 days. Super chat from Tazewell. Glad you asked Mixon about not enforcing hip drop. That wasn't me. That was Chancellor. And then Bieneme. Chancellor Johnson, the great Chancellor Johnson of KPRC2 and great DJ Bieneme of ESPN. My 2 guys were the ones who asked that. I just asked them about holding it down for Nico. If NFL wants to ban hip drop tackles, then enforce it. Now a star player is out for weeks. Yeah. I mean, he's pissed too. He is very pissed. No, Jalen Petrie's not hurt. I was just saying in a hypothetical world, they don't have like a backup Jalen Petrie. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that, D'Amico says we're going to play our defense. I feel like their defense has brilliantly been a massive adjustment to the personnel they have. They don't have Jeff Okudah right now. right now. They don't have Christian Harris, and they're only playing 2 linebackers and 2 corners. I think it's actually an adjustment. So I give him credit. What about Heinisch? He's full go. Do they need him? Like, what are you doing with Heinisch? They stopped the run very well. Autry's going to come back. You have Khalil Davis, who's been playing pretty well. Foley's playing good. Edwards is playing good. I don't know. I mean, he's practicing full speed. Seems a little bit grumpy lately, though. I don't know what's up with Heinisch. But yeah, do you need him? Don't know. I would say maybe, maybe not. Don't know. Not I don't think it's like that crucial, especially once you get Autry back. You know what I was thinking when I was coming up here? This is kind of random. And this was one of our biggest arguments. And some of you people, and I do mean you people, remember this. It wasn't all of you. And God knows I've said some stuff, but you remember when we were kind of talking about the draft and there was a large portion of the viewers fan base that was kind of freaking out about defensive tackle. And they were like, we need to draft a defensive tackle. We need to draft a defensive tackle. And my whole notion was, man, DeMeco Ryans really, 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 really seems to like these defensive linemen for some reason. And I don't know what it was. I heard maybe it was like that they were more disciplined and stayed in their gaps and didn't try to rush upfield the whole time. But one of the things that I saw where there was a lot of panic, and I didn't really understand it, was when Malik Collins was traded to the 49ers. And I remember there was like a notion, and I'm not saying this to say I was right. All I'm saying is I promise I got a point. Panic. Why would you do this if you don't have a replacement for Malik Collins? Oh my God, how are you going to do this? And you also got Tim Settle too. And then they tried to trade for Eric Armstead. It's like, oh my God, defensive tackle. What are they going to do? They got to draft a DT. Holy crap, this sucks. Yada yada yada. Malik Collins must have sucked here. Like he must just not fit into what they do. If we're being completely honest. He must not have really fit in, because have you watched this team at all and been like, man, damn, they could really use Malik Collins. Like a lot of the guys they lost, like I found myself like imagining how they would have fit in here. Like Blake Cashman's doing fine. I think Al-Shair's done more than a good job of filling in for Blake Cashman. But I found myself thinking, man, what if Blake would have stayed? What would this look like? I don't think it would be much better with the way that Al-Shair's playing and with how much of a leader he is. I mean, it had to have crossed your mind for a second. And I'm glad they got Hunter. I wouldn't have given Grenard that much time. I think it's inevitable that Grenard misses time. But even when Grenard was beating the Texans, was like, man, maybe they could have. Man, what about Jonathan Grenard? How would he have fit into this? Would this be any different? Danielle Hunter does lead the league in pressures, but like, would this have been any different? Like, at least crosses your mind. As I'm watching these dog-butted running efforts, I sit there and I say, damn, man, like, would Devin Singletary be able to run through these holes better than Cam Akers, not Mixon, but like Cam Akers, Dare, and Pierce? I think the answer is yes. Like, I find myself saying that. Hell, this week, the wide receiver depth we're talking about, and I know he's already hurt, but I've sat there and thought to myself, man, Noah Brown, man, if they could really use Noah Brown and his production and what he brought him last year. I find myself thinking that. Hunter, Cam Johnston's out for the season, but I'm watching Tommy Townsend. I know we just mentioned him putting it inside the 2. I've found myself thinking, even the punter, Cam Johnston, man, could they have used that guy? Steven Nelson. People have been saying, bring Steven Nelson back for cornerback depth. Crazy ass idea for a crazy ass guy. But I've even heard that. Not once, not one time have I thought to myself, man, they could really use Malik Collins. And they didn't even it's not like when it comes to Grenard, they signed Daniil Hunter. When it comes to Al-Shaair, they signed, or Cashman, they signed Al-Shaair. When it came to Cam Johnston, they signed Tommy Townsend. When it came to Noah Brown, they liked their young guys. They traded for Stefon Diggs. They used Foley Fatukasi on, I believe, a 1-year deal. Tim Settle on, I believe, a 1-year deal. Khalil Davis brought his ass back. And Mario Edwards has been in the league 10 years, and he's been a DN. He was a DN before they moved him inside when Autry left. Not one time have I said to myself, man, they could really use Malik Collins. Not one time. And the defense is still playing good. They're holding it down. And they haven't even gotten Autry out there. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Have you at 1 second missed Malik Collins? That was an $11 million player. I don't even miss him. Do they need more production on the inside? Perhaps. I don't miss him. Has anyone missed him? The answer is no. Y'all are asking who's going to fill in for Lassiter. Your guess is as good as mine. I would suggest if Robert Woods is not going to go, like no matter who you're going to use at corner, if Robert Woods is not going to go, then I would put Des King in at punt returner just because he can kind of be an emergency corner as well. And he can kind of be an emergency guy on the inside since Jimmy Ward's out. Does that make sense? He's been a Pro Bowl punt returner before. And if Robert Woods isn't going to be there, I would suggest that. I don't know. Like, does Steven Sims get his job back if Robert Woods is gone? What good does that do? Like, what are you accomplishing? You don't even want him on the field at receiver, really, right? I don't think so. We'll see what they do. I would rather see Des King as kind of like an emergency situation. The corner could be Hallman. It could be Boyd. It could be a number of guys. They're not really showing that during the open portion of practice. So that's where that is. Shout out to Jack Easterby in the chat. We haven't been getting any picks. That's true. They haven't really been turning it over. Aziz Al-Shaair kind of dropped that one the other day. Any chance of reaching for Debo? I don't know. I played EA Sports yesterday. I saw Debo at over 100 yards today. So shout out to him. Don't say that, Harris. Steven Sims will get one end around since Tank might actually get some downfield targets. Man, that's mean. That's mean. We're talking J.J. Watt. Bring back J.J. Hey. That would be hilarious. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Again, this has been a little bit of road work. I just got in. Just had to do the stream. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock, SNL with myself and Cody Stutes. We'll continue to hold it down. Be sure to listen to the stream. The stream's growing, man. I think we had 55,000 hours of watch time in the last few weeks. I think that was the report that I saw. And it's getting bigger and bigger. So I appreciate y'all for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. Always remember, whether it's at home, whether it's on the road, whether it's a stream, whether I'm in the studio, whether I'm in an old school office that has pencils, when it comes, where's the sharpener, by the way? Where is the pencil sharpener? There's got to be a pencil sharpener in here, right? You can't have pencils without a sharpener, right? You got the old school. Man, we got the eraser too. Look at this. You got the eraser. We're going old school. Look at that. Pencils, man. Got to have many pencil sharpener. I'm not saying it. Whether there's a pencil sharpener or not, when it comes to this Texas stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming.
On YouTube, we got taste for days. Opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number one. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize, every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.